those are 4 long years in Mexican prison. Is that where you got stabbed?
Yeah.
Okay. And that was happening, daily in the prison you were at.
It was bad. I always tell people, once I did time in the Mexican prison, every prison in the United States was like a 5-star hotel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, for real.
Yeah.
Like, even the super max ones.
Yeah. You talk about on your channel, you bring up the sex offender that, they put him in the general population, and then, they shove a broom up his ass and they stab him and just let him bleed out. Just horrendous stuff. I'm not terribly interested in that kind of thing. Just because it's so brutal. I don't like glorifying it. But is that part of the reason that you were able to get transferred out? Like, did basically when an American citizen is in those kind of conditions, locked up in a foreign country, does the government basically negotiate on your behalf, saying, hey, just for humanitarian purposes, send him back home so he could be tried here? Is that how you were able to get out?
Well, they had a program back then where they were doing extradition they were doing an exchange program where every Mexican that was in the United States got to come home to Mexico for an American.
So they were trading 1 for 1.
Yeah, they had a program, and I was one of the last ones to be on that program. That's why it took them a little bit longer to get me out of there, because there was a waiting list. So when I came over on the plane, they must have been about 30, maybe 40 Americans on that plane. It was a big plane.
Yeah, all doing time in Mexico.
But they started from the bottom, Oaxaca, all the way up, picking up everybody.
Yeah.
And when I turned around and I looked at all the Americans, because remember, at this time, I'm still young. I'm 19 years old.
Yeah.
I look back and I look at all the Americans. They all look gone. Their eyes, their hair, like mentally, they weren't there.
Yeah, broken by a Mexican prison.
By the violence and everything that was happening over there. So when I sat down, I was like, man, I'm lucky that I was young and in the prime of my violence.
Right.
Because it helped me survive.
Yeah, and I imagine the violence that you witnessed in Chicago as a kid helped buffer what you saw when you got to the Mexican prison, right?
It helped me adjust because I had already seen a lot of bad stuff. Because once I got to Mexico, it was a whole different story. Over there, it's like I had never seen people getting lynched and stuff like that. It was bad.
Can you describe that? What does a lynching look like?
I mean,
is there something that stands out?
It's just a bunch of guys stabbing you where like there's nothing left in you no more. It's like beating a dead horse.
And you witnessed some of that.
Yeah, like it was bad. And it changes you.
Yeah.
Like it starts to make you almost, I guess, numb to life.
Mm-hmm.
Like you start to feel the same way.
Now, when you get to the feds in America, usually they'll give you a piece of steel your first day in there, right? Is that how it is in Mexico? Like, did you have to put in knife work or at least carry something for protection?
No, it's very different over there, man. It's every unit was a different state in Mexico. It was just very different. I mean, they even had guns in there. That's really all that's not really brought out until it's needed.
Yeah.
If there's like a big riot or stuff like that, it doesn't happen. They're not gangbanging like we are in the United States.
Right.
In the United States, that's what kills us, is that we spend so much time killing ourselves that like I tell the guys in Mexico, it was a violent prison, but they were enjoying their time. Music was playing. They were sleeping with girls, doing drugs.
Yeah.
Like they were enjoying their time.
Yeah.
The time wasn't like spent trying to kill and gangbang with somebody.
Well, those were the people that had money, though.
Yeah, yeah.
So you didn't have money, though.
When I first got there, I had a lot of money because Valerie was sent me $1,000 every month. I lived pretty much like a kingpin.
Oh, great. So were you getting hookers in there?
I was getting hookers. I was
raw dog.
That was I was doing all the stuff that everybody else was doing. I had carpet in my cell. I had a big screen TV. I was walking around in my Nike suits.
Tacos? Did you get better food?
There was restaurants in there that I ate at. There was stores that I shopped at. It was a different life.
Are inmates running and making money off of those restaurants?
Yeah. They're businesses.
And so they're paying the administration to bring in like the meat and the vegetables.
Yeah, it's a business.
It's a business within the prison.
Exactly. And I always tell people this. If you want to get a really good idea of what the Mexican prison was in my time when I was in there, watch the movie Get the Gringo with Mel Gibson.
Mm.
It will give you an idea of the businesses, the parties, how it was ran in there. I mean, when I was in prison in Mexico, it was the first time ever that I said, okay, I've had enough drugs. I don't want no more drugs. Right. It was the first time because there was so much of it.
Yeah.
That when I would party with one of the big kingpins in there, he would put a whole kilo on a plate. You know, he would warm it up and start cutting it. And I would do so much coke that sometimes I would run. I would go high to a different unit because I didn't want to do no more. And he would send his guys to go find me. And they would be like, Pollito, because that's what they would call me. They would call me like Chicken Little because I was really young when I was there. Yeah. They were like, hey, Donato's looking for you. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to go no more. One time, this is funny. I had a shirt on my chest and I had a piece of wood that I was like twirling on it because I felt like my heart was going to like come out of my chest. So I'm walking around with a shirt with a stick and I'm hiding from him because I don't want to do no more coke. And they find me, they take me back. And I was a little afraid, you know, I couldn't tell him no. You know, this guy is the head guy in the prison. So I sit there and I start doing more coke with him. I ended up in the hospital for alcohol poisoning that day.
Yeah.
Like it was bad.
But you know, that's how good the coke is there. You can just keep doing it and not overdose because it's so pure.
It was pure.
Now, are they also dealing coke? They're running coke in there. What's a gram? I guess they probably don't sell grams in there, but
yeah,
like,
it's called pesado.
Oh, pesado. Yeah. Okay. So what does one of those pesado joints sell for?
So it was going for 150 pesos. So that's probably about,
it's nothing.
I want to say maybe $10.
Maybe back then. Now it's probably even cheaper than that. Wow.
$10. So grandma, pure coke. There was people that would come from the outside into the prison to visit somebody to buy drugs to take them outside to sell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they were pure inside the prison.
It was more pure inside the prison. So it was almost like a distribution hub.
And it's, I mean, they sold coke, they sold weed, they sold pills. I fell in love with the whole pill game in Mexico because over there they have a lot of pills that they don't have here in the United States. They're illegal here in the United States. Their pharmaceutical is way bigger over there. So they have uppers, downers, sideways, floaters. They have reinas, sartanes, rochas.
So did you think, did you network in there? Did you think, man, when I get back to the US, like I'm really going to be on? Like, did you get plugged with connects? Like, were you thinking that far ahead?
Yeah. I mean, that I tell the story all the time. I went back to pay, you know, I got in trouble and they show it on the TV show. I got in trouble because I owed so much money because I was keeping the drugs and doing them myself. I wasn't selling them no more.
Right.
So I got in trouble and it almost cost me my life.
It's a good way to get killed. Is that why you got stabbed?
Oh, no, I got stabbed for my shoes when I was there brand new. When I got there new, the first day.
Oh, tell us about this.
I got stabbed on the first day. I walked in, I had, you know, I looked like American. I had a Jordan outfit on.
Yeah.
They seen that I was American. They asked me for my shoes. I still thought I was tough. They stabbed me, took my shoes.
They showed you what tough was.
And also, it is what it is.
Where'd they stab you and with what?
They asked an ice pick. I got stabbed in the back and then the doctor had to come in and stab me to put the tube in my lung to take the blood out. Ooh. So I got stabbed twice, technically.
Yeah, so you could have bled out because that's a kidney shot.
Well, it was bad. It was bad and I was lucky to make it out. But, you know, once the people knew that I was there and who I was working for, you know, I got picked up.
Yeah.
It's just I messed up by using the drugs and not paying the money. But honestly, that's what shot my career into the game.
Right.
Because when I got home from prison, I flew back to a prison that's in the island where the boss was at, where they had moved him to, and I paid him his money.
Wow.
And that's what made me get plugged in with the people that I got plugged in with when I got back to Chicago.
Right. Hey guys, if you like that clip, make sure to check out the full episode right here and subscribe to our channel right over here.